Now, say I wanted to make, I think that this is going to work. If it doesn't, forgive me. Um, if you want to make all these the same, you were asking me the question about making all the photos, applying the same settings to everything. What you can do is you can choose from the menu, edit, and select all. Again, it's the same thing by doing Control A and select all. And then you can also go through and be picky about which ones you want to choose. You can choose, and unchoose them. I'm going to do all. Now I'm going to hit this button called Sync Settings. It's going to give me this list of things. Now I can go ahead and choose. If you want us to do the same spot removal on every photo, you can. That's going to be the identical spot removal on every single thing. You can crop them all the same, but see, now it's going to let you choose any of these settings that you've already applied, and it's going to sync them to the new ones. Now you hit synchronize, and look at that. Every photo turns black and white. Now, I don't know if you continuously have to hit sync settings for it to do it after you've done it once. Let's see what happens. So I changed the exposure to quite a bit, and I'm done editing that. Alright, now it's not... Oh, and this button right here that I just discovered is a little before and after setting. So you can choose to copy this side, this is the before. You can choose to copy this side settings over here, choose to copy the other settings back, or to swap them, so before becomes after, etc. But for right now, I'm going to leave it the way it is. And that way you can see what's changed between what you're doing now and what you did then. Now I'm going to go back to the library, double click on the photo, and you see it again. So now say I only want to apply those settings to those two photos as well as the first one. I'm going to hit sync, and the exposure is also changed on those, and that answers that question. So now I've got some edited photos. I think that one looks kind of nice in black and white. You can again see if you click in it and you go into develop mode, you can choose before and after and see what it looks like in both settings. Like again, you can swap them and apply them backwards and forwards. But for right now, I'm going to leave them alone. Okay, so alright, now I'm happy with my changes. Okay, we're in the library again, and I think you can probably do this from anyone, but you might, no, you can't do that. Alright, so I'm in my library mode, and I want to now say I'm done with my photos, and I want to export them. Okay, one thing I want to do here is, as you can see, remember before I said it was going to move the files? See, this file is now empty. Well, this is a bad image. See, this file is where the original ones were. It's empty, and the new file has all of the photos in it like it's supposed to. So this is the folder. Now what I want to do is I'm actually going to say create a new folder. Again, that key command was Alt FWF on your keyboard. So Alt is down at the bottom and then FWF. New folder, and I'm going to name it Lightroom Edits. Okay? That's creating a new folder. It's just keeping it organized. So I know that these are my photos that I've edited that have gone into Lightroom are in this file. I open it. I have my first set of photos. Now you can always rename it, so I can say edited July 31st, 2009 -8. I guess I was going to put the time in, but it won't let me do a colon. So we can leave that off. It'll, whatever. You can say edited July 31st, 2009. Alright, fine. These are all the photos I've edited today. And now I'm going to, because we're also going to do some edits in Picasa, so I want to differentiate between what was edited in Lightroom and edited in Picasa. So again, I'm going to create another folder, Picasa Edits. Alright, I'm going to close that. I'm going to go back into Lightroom. So now, these are obviously the photos I've edited in Lightroom. So I'm going to choose File and Export. But remember, you have to select all your photos, which you can do by hitting either Control A on your keyboard, or edit select all, or if you want to be more choosy, you can do it from down here by hitting Control and holding it, and then choosing the other files. Control only. But for now, I want to do them all, so I'm going to hit File and Export. Ignore the other options. Okay. Now you're going to get this window when you do that. And it's going to ask you a few things. So go through each box, as I'm going to do now. Now it's asking you to export to a specific folder, or same as the originals. I'm going to choose specific folder because remember, I created a Lightroom edits folder. So I want to put it there, obviously, because I know that that's where it's going to be. I edited the files in Lightroom, so I want to put it in the Lightroom edits folder that I created. So I'm going to select choose, and it's on my desktop, inside edited photos, inside edited July 31st, and then Lightroom edits. Okay. Since I know that those folders are going to be in that file specifically that I named, I don't need to put them in another subfolder because it's not going to need one. So I'm going to unselect that. Add to this catalog means what's going to happen is the exported files with the changes will now also be added to the catalog. I'm going to leave that alone because I really don't need to be. It's not going to be covered in this part of this video. Existing files, just leave it to ask what to do. That means if there's a file there if you have a file that already exists in a specific folder, then Lightroom is not going to be able to export it without asking you what to do because you don't want to overwrite files. Alright, file naming, you're going to leave it as the same file name again, or you can choose something else. You can choose file name, or you can choose custom something. You can do whatever you want. You can play with that option yourself. I'm going to leave it because it's in a separate folder, so I don't need to change the names. This is now where you're going to be able to convert in the file settings box. This is where you're going to be able to convert a batch of raw images to JPEG just by choosing JPEG from the drop-down, which is default. I would choose quality, set it to 100. Now, you probably don't want a batch resize, but if you did need to, you can choose this box and play with the settings. I would leave the sharpening alone, the metadata alone, and the post-processing alone. Now, what this means is after this is processed and exported, this is what Lightroom will do. It will either show them in a folder, it'll open that file up so you can see it, it'll open it up in Photoshop if you got it installed, or another application. And currently, I don't really want anything to happen, so I'm going to leave it at do nothing. I'm going to then click export. Okay. Now I'm going to go check the files, Lightroom edits, and I have all 5. As you can see, when I double click the file, it opens up. These are all of the files with the crazy exposure and the black and white edits. Alright, so now we've successfully put files into Lightroom, edited them, and taken them out. Alright, so now I'm going to close down Lightroom, and I'm going to open Picasa, which for me is right here. Okay, Picasa is now going to open, edited July 31st, and Lightroom edits. Okay, so now we've opened Picasa, and it's automatically going to detect the photos that I've had on the desktop, the originals, and the folders, and see the folder called Lightroom edits. You just have to search through it through your tree. Alright, so now you can see I've got this set of exported files. Okay, so let's choose one that's a little bit less exposed. We'll do this one. Okay, let's do something drastic and hit sepia. I guess that works. Okay, so now we've got sepia on that file. We can also do it on this one, just to give us a couple files with some changes. Alright, so we have these two.